Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Well, I'm
And
not as good as Miss Candy, who's celebrating a birthday today,
right, Carrie, what is it we do? And yeah, Megan, we know why you couldn't come on tonight. Now,
because she didn't want to sing.
she didn't want to sing. She has the best voice out of us too. We know you, Megan. So, shall we start the show with us singing, or shall we end the show with us singing? Carrie, you decide.
Well, we might have viewers stay on if we sing at the end, because we don't want them to jump bait at the beginning.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
That is funny.
You guys are too cute. Too cute.
Okay, so
Huh,
you tell me when you
we'll
want to
we'll
do it.
call it cute. That that'll be our happy story to wrap up the night.
Yeah, because Candy makes us smile.
Aw.
I'm just sad you won't be there with me this weekend, Candy.
I know. I know. There was a lot of movement in the college football playoff rankings and stuff like that, but some big games happened this past weekend and some teams went down and you know, I thought about it and I'm like Miami went down to well, went up to Syracuse to play Syracuse and Syracuse played their hearts out. And I thought about it and I'm like, and then I realized, you know who the quarterback for Syracuse was? Ohio State's reject from last year. He transfer portal,
Oh,
so he knew he was a good talent. And getting out of Ohio State did it for him. I mean, he passed for like tons of yards. He had a really good game, I have to admit. As sad as I am that, Miami lost the game because they've been doing so good all year, but Syracuse was a good game. I mean, that he they played tough.
I went okay at ACC kickoff when I met Coach Brown. Um, honestly, like he reminded me so much of Charlie Young. I literally went to my car and I called Charlie and I was like, "You need to reach out to this head coach." It was like he reminds me of a younger version of you. It was like very pious. It was like very driven, man of a few words, but very determined. And he started laughing at the man of few words. I love Charlie. I need to call him. But
Mhm.
I Coach Brown impressed the heck out of me. So did a couple of his players too. So my 40 something year old rear end was trying to get up off the floor, and one of the guys tried to help me up. I was like, "No, I got it. It just looks ugly."
Yeah.
that's
um,
funny.
but Syracuse has impressed me, and here locally, local news and ACC football, they kind of keep making comments about that first person, that one media person at kickoff that said Boston College would be like the surprise team of the ACC and do better than anticipated. Do y'all know who that one media person was?
It was you.
Totally biased. I'm not gonna lie. Um,
Just a tad.
just a little bit, but I have good reason to be.
Absolutely.
You know, family lineage. Um,
Understand?
I forgot who. I'm sorry. I'm tagging people also right now. But we are. I am excited because I will be covering with Chris Heidel and Adam Lemise, and I might ask Chris to come on with us next Tuesday night if y'all are cool with that, because he's going to. I'm going to the ACC championship with he and Adam this weekend to cover it for Three Chicks. I was going to apply, but Chris had an extra pass, and I was like, I'll just go with them. So I didn't annoy Brandon too much over there. So but I'm excited because to see SMU, they've had a good run lately. I'm not gonna lie, even before they joined the ACC, but to see SMU come into the championship game against Clemson and their head coach Davo Sweeney, Coach Rhett Lashley has done a phenomenal job there. He actually just signed an extension as well. So I'm excited to see what it brings. It's a long time since we had fresh blood in the ACC championship. I mean, obviously, Clemson is pretty much steadfast. They were there. They've been there the last several years, to be honest with you. So downtown Charlotte will be a traffic jam. So it'll be fun. I'm also excited to see my some of the other podcasters that I've met and reporters. There's this one cool guy. His name is I can't remember it, but why am I blanking? I was just texting with him earlier. Oh, he's not watching, hopefully. But anyway, he's like an old fashioned reporter. He still does the print newspaper. He'll be there. Um, Actually, game day starts at 10 o'clock in the morning, but the kickoff is not until 8 p.m. So I need to figure out what time I have to be there because I'm not going to be there from 10 to 8. Like 10 to 12. No, I can't do that. I'm not young enough to do that. No.
That's a long time,
That's a very long time. Um,
especially without having like a lounge or something that you would have to where you could like a private lounge where you could go and rest and recoup and
Well, and it's not like
rejuvenate.
you can do a lot of there isn't a lot of prep because it's not like you're going to be able to interview players beforehand. That's all done afterwards. So yeah, you can watch them on the field doing their pregame, but that's really all. I mean, no,
I can get field pictures. That'll be fun.
true.
But yeah, you're right. So I need to find out what our schedule is on Saturday. But I'm excited. It's the first time I've covered an ACC championship game. So I think it'll be fun. Yeah, I'm excited about it because I watch them all the time. I've actually written articles about them. I've gone to the press conferences the last 2 years, but this is the first championship game I've gone to.
Good for you.
I'm excited. So what are you girls like? Who do you prefer? Because I know Candy, you favor the ACC a little more than Carrie does. And Carrie favors more the Big Ten, right, Carrie?
SEC.
SEC. I'm sorry. I apologize.
See,
And
I'm
you know that little obscure SEC conference that no one really knows about.
Yeah. Who?
huh? Who?
Huh? Georgia? What? Huh?
Yeah, it's just it's an up and coming conference. Hopefully, we'll start getting some national exposure.
Yeah. It'll be soon that they start getting national exposure.
Absolutely.
Depends, and if they're talking about they might make it all one big super conference and not even have the different conferences. So you never know, like what they're gonna do, what they might need to do.
The roadmap in the future is going to be very interesting. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they just do one big super conference, then people are going to get annoyed and teams will discuss leaving and creating another conference once again. Because as you and I know, and I don't know if you knew this, Carrie, or not, but and we'll get to the SEC championship games in a second. But we but several teams, including Chapel Hill, Clemson, and FSU, but more FSU and Clemson have been talking about leaving the ACC and that'll be a big upset. But FSU joined what 1988?
Something like that, I think. Yeah.
Okay, but I don't think that they would go to the FSU would not fit into SEC. Clemson would easily.
Yes.
And one day we should talk Dabo Swinney's inability to use the portal and if it's a good thing or a bad thing. But so Carrie, what about the SEC championship? Who are you rooting for?
I'll probably ride with Megan and go with Texas.
Yeah.
It puts number 3 Texas against number 7 Georgia. That'd be
Just
interesting.
because, quite honestly, I'm tired of Georgia, Alabama being the only thing that comes out of the SEC or, so I'm ready to see something besides. That's why I enjoy the SEC growing with these different ones. That's just my 2 cents there.
I mean, let's face it, I'm kind of really a Big Ten girl. And the Big Ten now has Oregon, the number 1 team in the nation, going up against number 4 Penn State. That's going to be a tough game, I think. That could be very interesting. But
Definitely.
it's Oregon's first time in the Big Ten conference, so it's kind of interesting how many of these schools that have jumped different um, different conferences who are now in the championship games.
It's also interesting how those that dominated, and I'm going to use Oklahoma as an example. OU dominated the the Big Eight, it was all the way back from when Big Eight to Big Ten to Big 12. OU was always a dominant force, has always been a dominant force in those in football, especially. They come into SEC and they've struggled this year, and the fans have at different times, and so the fans are not used to this because they're used to being the big duck in the little pond, and now they're just an average duck in a big pond. So it's also kind of while you've seen a lot of success in some of these conference changes, you've also seen the teams that have had much success in the past kind of come into unsteady ground and trying to figure out their way and how to navigate and play in the SEC. So that in the other leagues as well, but most notably to me is the SEC because that's what I watch. Those are the games I'm watching. So kind of an interesting twist on things.
Yeah. Because, and I think I'm like you. I think that it's just going to be really interesting seeing a brand fresh faced team and our championship and who we're used to seeing in there. Can either
And actually, Texas is in that same situation.
see comments that are being made?
I see
Texas and OU.
and you.
Mm-hmm. So.
Okay. No, you will not, Adam. Adam says he'll keep me in line this weekend.
No chance.
Adam, there's not anybody in this world that can do that. I mean, good luck.
No. Okay. Adam, I will make sure to have my cough drops and bottles of water with me. Okay. Now, on to Powerhouse Players. And it's kind of a sad story. So, Carrie, I'm going to let you handle this because we all know Trent Williams, everything he's been through. And it just got a little worse for him.
So, we've watched many teams struggle this year with injuries and all kinds of things. It seems like some teams have been hit harder and for a longer period of time, as we've seen with the 49ers. I mean, they had a stacked roster, and looking at their struggles, they've lost people on IR and back and forth on injuries and such. But what has struck as a very profound and sad thing for me, I've noticed, is this week Trent Williams and his wife announced that they lost. They had lost the first of the twin earlier in the pregnancy, and then their son was born on the 24th, stillborn, because he had a lot of issues that made it his living not be very high option. They were able to see this twin and hold him, and he said that was I read a statement from him that he released on Twitter, and I can't find it again, of course, but it was the strength and courage that his child is giving him will carry him forward. Ironically, or tragically, Travarius Ward, who was of the Chiefs and then went to the 49ers, on October 29th, he and his wife lost their 1-year-old daughter, who also had heart issues and such from birth. So this team, this family, this organization not only has been dealing with the injuries and such on field and struggling with getting their team together healthy at one time, have these two families important families on their team that are dealing with something even more massive in their lives, and is the loss of a child. So just really sad to me that it has seem to pile up on the 49ers. So our hearts are going out to they're not only just Trent and his wife and Travarius Ward and his wife, but their entire team and everyone that's associated with them because it's got to wear on the team as well.
Yeah.
I think it brings a reality to some of us that are the so-called fans that these are real people. Like they have real personal lives that we need to actually respect. And so many people, and I hate this, have spewed hate and spewed things when they've seen things, some of the things on the field, some of the things off the field. And I don't care who you are, you don't demean people, whether it be in the press, in the public, on social media, for something that they did. If they did something wrong, let the process work, the system work, and let the system take care of them. You know, these people that, I mean, I've heard some hateful things come out of people that on the defensive player that hit Trevor Lawrence, that was an awful hit. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure people have. But to spew hateful things for him doing his job, and yes, whether you agree the hit was good or bad or not, let the NFL take care of it. Where I have a problem, and this is where when Ohio State and Michigan, the college teams, played a game, and they have a huge rivalry, everybody knows that. After the game, a fight ensued. And it was actually, I've heard 4 different rivalry games had fights after the games, but this is the one that I heard the most. They're fining both teams over $100,000. Okay, well, that's fine. That's all well and good. But it was the kids on the field that were doing the fighting. What kind of punishment are they having? And I don't know that. I don't need to know if what their punishment was, but I need to know that they get some kind of punishment for that fight, because those fights caused an umpire to have to go to the hospital, or a police officer to go to the hospital. Like that just, to me, can't happen. And you have to have, I miss the days of sportsmanship. Like you sit there and you look at like an NHL hockey game, and they can go fighting during the game, but at the end of the game they go through a line and they high five all the other team a lot of times.
Right.
Where did we lose respect for people that we've got to fight after a game and disrespect another team? It saddens me.
In all honesty, Candy, I feel like that's just across the country. Like when I was in school, and I don't know if it's just CMS, but one of my friends and I were talking about it. He sent, and this is going to be a very controversial statement, okay? And I will take the heat. But when we were in school, when I was in school, I was taught at school and at home, you respect everyone. It doesn't matter race, creed, sexuality, anything. You respect everyone. Even if you don't like them, you respect them or you show respect. And I think because so many people have changed that narrative to, oh, you have to, you know, respect this culture. You have to respect the football culture or you're bad. And I'm just using this as an example. Or you can only respect the basketball culture or whatever. No. No, no, no. Because I'll joke around and say, like, when I moved, this is not a joke. When I moved to New Mexico, straight up, that was the first time I really experienced, I saw a lot of blatant racism. Um, and, but sorry, my dogs just started fighting. Um, but when I was here, when I was in school, I was like, all the non-jocks versus the jocks. Like, there were people who didn't like each other, obviously. But like some of the jocks just acted like very arrogant individuals. And yeah, so I think we've lost the ability to respect each other. And I think that's across all socioeconomic backgrounds. And I'm not going to say, um, wait, Jeremy is defending Michigan. OSU can't handle someone doing what they did in Ann Arbor 5 years ago. Can't fight to win a game, but they sure can fight when someone else does the same thing.
They took offense. They took offense because Michigan went to plant their flag at midfield on Ohio State's after the game. Michigan was 20-point underdogs. They beat Ohio State 13-10.
Yep.
And I get it. Like, do you want somebody else to plant their flag on top of your logo at midfield? But does that warrant breaking out in a fight, hitting people?
Let's take this one step further. Ryan Day lost, right? So he's the losing coach. He and his family have been threatened.
Yeah, but Ryan Day was the whole part of that, talking about he ain't letting the people flag
And
So
shit.
I can't, my microphone
why is
audio, so I can't use my mic right now.
why is that even an option? Why is that even something that people think is okay? I don't understand this. I commented on a post, and this is so different, but I commented on a post in a football chat, and I dish out what I can take. So, I'm gonna talk smack. You can talk smack back to me. I've had to block two individuals that came at me because one labeled me, used the women as are supposed to be in kitchen mentality and totally degraded me that way, which is whatever, but then just went really badly. And I'm like, it's not worth it. And then the second person came in and decided that he was going to go political and guess who I did and why I should be shipped off to a different country, who I voted for. And I was like, from me saying that jokingly said that I paid for the script to be finalized and the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, I've been saying the Panthers are going to the Super Bowl for like 3 weeks now. We all know
So,
that's a joke, by the way.
but let me tell you, y'all got something special brewing there. We saw it again, even this weekend with the Bucks. But that's where I'm like, I don't understand. Why do we have to be so angry at everybody? It doesn't matter what part of society it is. We don't have to. I mean, if it isn't aligned with you, move along. If you don't like the sarcasm or the joke, move along. Hey, I see things all the time I don't agree with. Okay. It is not a reason to be, but we've allowed that. Our culture has allowed that to brew and come up to, and there's no one having to face consequences for their actions. And so it folds over into workplaces, it folds over into families, it folds over everywhere. And there's oftentimes no accountability for, excuse me, your actions. I grew up and I had to be accountable for what I did. If I said something, if I did something, hey, I will tell you again, I've done that. I may not like it. I may be very mad when you call me on it, but I will own up to it because I did it. That's how I was raised. So
Yeah.
we just don't have that same accountability anymore for across the board.
Well, and people look for a reason to get upset
Hmm.
and take things out of context. Um, and they don't take the time. They do more carpe diem than and seize the day instead of calming down and reading or listening to what's being said. Now, Michigan and OSU, their rivalry, yeah, they're gonna stick their flags in each other's things. You know, the first person to do it, somebody I don't like, but I will say is a great athlete that I
Baker.
recall, Deion Sanders,
Oh,
when he did it to the Cowboys,
well,
and
Baker did it to.
ended up playing. Guys, it's a game. Show respect. You're all in the same brotherhood. All in the same brotherhood. You're all had the same dreams. You're all trying for the NIL contracts. You're all trying for everything. NFL, everything. We get it. We got it. Good. You're a brotherhood though. Because you know what? Not all of you are going to the NFL. I'm really sorry to say.
I do want to take a moment here, and we have given Jen a whole lot of grief, and we've dogged, and we've, you know, poor Jen, she loves her keep pounding, and she's tried and true to the Panthers. But, people made fun of the Chiefs barely beating them, whatever. But let's say the Bucks came in and you all took them to overtime. Can we at least acknowledge that the Panthers, while their win-loss record has not shown it, that they have really turned it up and turned a corner down there? I mean, y'all can dog the Chiefs however you want to, and it's just what it is. But I was watching, as watching that game, I was sitting there being very impressed with what I was seeing. It was not the Panthers that started the season. It was not the Panthers even up to 2 weeks before your bye. It was a different group of men that came out there on that field and played ball. And I saw it again this last Sunday. So, I've seen it. I see it happening in the AFC West with the Chargers. And last night, if you watched the game, holy cow! Between Denver and the Browns, it was a phenomenal game. What if you watched any of it? And then those two long.
You.
I know.
Gary Johnson is giving the Broncos a compliment. Jordan Long, I need you to hear this.
But seriously, though, I mean, yes, there are rivals, but why aren't we welcoming and acknowledging the Bears are starting? Hopefully the Bears can get something built around Caleb because he's showing potential. We're seeing the Commanders step up and in their rebuild, their first year, show some viable. There for a while we thought they were going to run away with the division. So I mean, there's lots of promise out there, lots of things that people have been dogging for years, even on some of these teams. Now, there's a couple other teams that need to pull their heads out of their butts and do something.
Hey, Carrie, Candy has to leave. We can continue this in a second, but
I think we need to sing her happy birthday, and then you all can do your final thoughts. I just wanted to do a shout out to your Panthers.
Thank you. And your Chiefs are still doing well, even if it ain't pretty. Y'all still going to Super Bowl.
It's gritty football, and I love it.
It's old school.
My heart does it. Okay.
All right, you ready? Ask
Ready.
Bro if he wants to join.
No, he went out to smoke a cigarette.
Okay.
He knew it was coming.
1, 2, 3. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Candy. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, ladies and Rob. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. We try.
You did good. You did good.
We really do have to find
We love you, Candy.
We love you, Candy.
Love you too. Thank you, everybody.
Do you have any other passing or final thoughts, Miss Candy, for you?
Al Shiraz getting expand
3-game suspension. Let me help you
games due to his hit on Trevor.
I think they got to set a message. They've got to start cleaning up the game because some of these hits are, we talk about some of these bad hits, but that could affect Trevor in the long run. Like that, we're not talking about just an injury. He's out for a game or he went out for 2. Like that can do some serious damage. And so
you do know that this is the same guy that choked went up and grabbed Tom Brady by the neck. And
Mhm.
there's something they did with the Bears. I mean, this is not something new for him.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
Like honestly, the NFL needs to do more. Like I was at Crabtree, perfect because Perfect and Crabtree would go at it all the time. I don't know if you ladies remember that or not, but Perfect was just actually he was really. I met him once in person, and he was really nice, but on the field, mm-mm. I'm sorry, but sports to me shows the true character of a person, and it doesn't matter the sport. Nope. Okay, Candy,
Andy,
go get
we
your
love
kids
you.
dinner.
I've got to go. Thanks, everybody. Love you guys.
Happy
Okay.
birthday.
Thank you.
So it's just
All
us.
right, Miss Jen, do you have enough? Oh, my cat is going to visit us. Hello.
Trevor Lawrence went into a fencing position like when Tua had his first major concussion. Yeah. I just saw it as I was walking out, Jeremy, but yeah, because I was going to the game. I'll tell you what, that was a long ass game. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I was gone from my house for 8 hours.
Any last thoughts, Miss Jen, before we call it?
No.
Because my phone is going to die on me.
If anybody has any questions they want me to ask any coaches or players, hit me up. Jeremy, I'll message you my cell phone number because I don't know that I'll. But if you have any questions, Carrie, you obviously know my cell phone number. But if anybody has any questions they want me to ask, let me know in the days beforehand for coaches or players, and I will do my best to get them in and give you credit. Um, and I'm really excited about this weekend's game, and hopefully, I'll be hearing back about Super Bowl this year too soon.
Proud
Yes,
for you, Jen.
thank you, Carrie. And you're 100% correct. Perfect is I. You don't have to go. You don't have to behave that way. What are your last thoughts, Carrie?
I'm ready for. I'm kind of excited to see how the last of the season is going to play out for the NFL. I mean, we've seen both and actually let's just NCAA and NFL because we have seen so many roller coasters,
Mm-hmm.
upsets, surprises, things like that. Um, you know, that's why I love this game because it's any given Sunday, any given day, any given team has the ability to be the one. So I'm just kind of excited to see how this all plays out because I don't think anything's set in stone. I don't think anything is out there, and I think there's a lot that we get to discover in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I'll say if you're playing a sport, have respect for your brother or your sister, um, because it's not cool. It's not cool. It's just not. Just start respecting each other again. Literally, I have friends who've taken their kids out of public schools and into very specific schools because those schools will teach their kids to respect all.
Just find it in your heart to be able to smile at your neighbor instead of throw a stone because that stone
Exactly.
can come right back at you.
Wait, hold on. Jeremy said something. No, Jeremy, and you can ask Melfar Jr. too. I'm not surprised at all because I've been saying all season y'all gonna go to the Super Bowl. And now you don't have to worry about the 49ers. Just saying. Oh, Christian's out for the rest of the year.
Yep.
His knee. All right. If you guys have any topic suggestions, if you guys didn't watch our shows with Jackie Carson, which was 2 weeks ago from women's ACC basketball, amazing, such a fun lady to speak with. Um, so impressed. She does everything with class and elegance and humor. And then last week we had Mike Jaminsky on, the G-Man, the Duke legend, CW sports analyst. Go check that out. We're trying to he's gonna take one of Megan's ideas to the David Silver, head of the commissioner of the NBA. So here's hoping to get Megan a job out of that. And then we're going to have Mike on again sometime in January.
All right, folks, thanks for coming in and visiting with us again. We look forward to seeing you next week on Tuesday.
Yes, thank you guys. Okay.